Howdy, 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 and welcome to the Red Dirt Aggie Show. I'm Brian, aka the Red Dirt Aggie. I'm here with Trey Gonzalez, and finally here with Trey Gonzalez. Right, we had a little technical difficulties getting our,
Yep. You bet.
but we're here. We're gonna make it work, and we're excited. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? Let everyone know a little bit about yourself.
Howdy, guys. I'm Trey Gonzalez. I'm a country artist from the one and only San Antonio, Texas. I graduated from Texas A&M in 2019 with my master's in industrial and organizational psychology.
So you are a red ass Aggie. Good to hear.
We got a song called "Welcome to the Home of the 12th Man."
Yes, yes, love to hear it. I love it when Aggies come out with songs about A&M. You gotta love it.
Yep.
But what was it that really made you want to become a musician or inspired you to start playing music and getting into that?
It all kind of started back when I was about 5 years old. Two albums came out: the Road Less Traveled album by George Strait and the Drive album by Alan Jackson. And that was around the time that I started making memories. So
Yeah,
obviously, that's the earliest memories that I have in life are hearing those two albums. And I always knew I kind of wanted to do something with it. I just didn't know how. And when I was a sophomore in college, I got to go see Aaron Watson for the first time at Flores Country Store. And he was really the main inspiration. I was like, look, here's a guy from Texas,
right.
and he's doing it, and he's successful at it. And you know what? He's not playing the kind of country music that's a little rough on my ears.
Yeah.
It's all good music. It's just not my cup of tea every now and then. So that's
Mm.
that's what got me started, and I was really inspired and picked up my guitar. Didn't look back. So
Yeah, and Aaron Watson is a great example of someone, who started off just purely out of Texas and then, independent and everything, and then ended up being having success nationally as well, eventually starting off on the Texas circuit with guys like him, and then you see guys like Cody Johnson, who just recently won like New Artist of the Year or something like that. But
yeah, he's
people in
awesome.
Texas have known about him for over a decade, so I don't know how he can be new. But
Yeah, I remember Aaron Watson was up one year and he made like a little video. He's like, I'm being nominated for New Artist, but the reality is that I've been on this circuit for 20 years now. So
yeah,
I
it's
think it's just the different tiers of country music.
mm,
When you start getting national recognition, you're a new artist to that national stage. So
yeah, new to everyone else, right? That hasn't been
yeah,
following you since you've been back here in Texas. But same thing with guys like Parker McCollum or Co Wetzel and stuff that kind of cross over to that national scene as well.
yeah, it
Um,
was actually kind of cool. I ran into Parker at the Nashville airport when I was cutting my most recent album, Good Thing
mm.
Going. It was COVID at the time, and I turned right behind, and I was like, "Oh, look at that! There's the gold Louis Vuitton ring." And
Yeah,
I
dude.
wanted to say hi, but I was like, "This guy looks like he's in the zone. I'm just gonna let him be." But I'll catch you next time, Parker.
No, I mean, yeah, he's been out there. He's out there hustling, man. I had him on last episode, and he's grinding out there, just real, real, real busy. Because he actually agreed, like, a while back to be on the show, but he's just been so busy, like on the tour and everything. And he's even was messaging me. He's like, "I'm sorry, dude. Like, there's no Wi-Fi on the bus. Like, we're trying really hard." I'm like, so he's a really great guy to take the time to come on and hang out with us, and
Okay.
while all that was going on, so we appreciated having him on for sure. But
I recently got back from traveling to Colorado. I went up there and did some off-roading, and
oh, nice.
what's wild is, and again, I don't experience this until you experience it. When you start driving through West Texas and other parts of the nation, and there are dead zones for hours, you're like, ooh, you better download all those podcast episodes, whatever your favorite songs are, and, pray
Oh
them.
shoot, yeah. Yeah, make sure you got enough gas and make sure everything's charged up and you got
Yeah,
your music downloaded. I didn't even think about that because that's the thing with streaming now is like, you think, oh, I'm good, I got Spotify, but if you go on an airplane or out of signal range or something, then you don't have all those songs unless they're saved.
Yep.
But it's just interesting the way that's kind of come about with streaming and everything. But what's your favorite part of creating music?
You know, I think for me, it's writing about what you're going through at the moment, but also writing about what could help someone get through what they're going through. And I recently wrote a song thinking about cutting. It's called "When Do I Get Paid?" And
Mm.
I was just kind of looking around at life, and I just bought my first home, and I was really, really happy about it. And the reality hit. I was like, wow, I got my first home. I got student loans, and might be needing a touring van. I was like, when do I get paid? Do you like when 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 does our generation kind of have some breathing room after college and after all the things that are kind of expected of us in the life experiences? So yeah.
Oh, oh yeah, man. Everything's expensive,
Yeah,
and
inflation, I know it's coming
inflation's
down,
not.
but still
Yeah,
you still feel it.
yeah, man. It's just it's crazy how expensive everything is getting. Even everything just like going to McDonald's. What happened to the dollar menu? Now it's like the $3 menu or whatever.
Yeah. I remember during the stint where gas prices got crazy last year.
Yeah,
I was calling all venues. I was like, "Hey, can you like work with us on the
yeah. Like,
price?"
can we have a
Like,
gas stipend? Like,
they're like, "Sorry, Mr. Gonzalez, like we really don't have any right now." I got, it's when you're making those stretches, especially with the trailer behind you, every
yeah,
pound counts, and you have to really control your weight and
yeah,
your the difference between 8 miles per gallon and 10 after a while.
yeah. No, you need every every bit of fuel you can get out of there and
Yeah,
save you every bit. Fuel is money, man. Um, but what would you say is the hardest part of being a musician? Is it creating new music or perfecting it when you're in the studio or performing or any combination of those things?
sure.
Something else?
The reality is that when you're starting off, it's being consistent on all fronts. So like
Mm,
for me, I feel comfortable and I'm a consistently good performer. I know how to go out on stage and have fun and get the crowd interacted
right.
and have a good time that way. Where I tend to struggle is selecting the songs and then knowing what to do with that afterwards. And some people will say, hey, it's as simple as posting to TikTok and Reels every day. And it's as simple as posting to YouTube every week and all that. And there is some truth to that, but there's the music side of it and then there's the business side and learning to educate
Yep.
yourself on both and not lose yourself. For me, like I said, the challenging part is being able to balance everything as an artist. When you're starting off, you're the intern, you're the marketer, you're the promoter, you're the songwriter, and it's learning to be consistent enough to gain the traction and to build the fan base. And I often struggle with social media at times, and I know there needs to be a certain schedule and a strategy to it all, and I just honestly fail to be consistent with it. So I'm still learning to build a fan base outside of what I have now, and then making sure that I'm pushing that music out to everyone that I can.
Yeah, and that's the thing with social media is, it's a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing in that, it's great because you can put your content in front of so many different people, but it's also like you have to know the right time to post and like all you have to learn all these different platforms and like where to push it out to, and it's kind of something I can relate to a lot through the podcast too because
Yeah,
you know it's we come on here, we do a video call and then it's all recorded or whatever, but then you got to go in, edit it, put your intro on the front and post it to YouTube and Spotify. All that's no big deal. But then it's like, okay, how do I make people notice that it's there?
yeah,
You got to build up your subscribers, and you gotta make it into TikTok reels and Instagram reels, and be like, follow me. I promise it's cool. Like, just
yeah.
go from there. But
there's the music side of it, and then there's the business side of it, and learning to
Yeah.
balance them both. Uh, I can't tell you how many times like, I'll get the call of like, "Hey, we want you to come to XYZ town or city," and we start talking about the money, and I'm like, "Hey guys, it's cool if I'm a little in the red, but when I'm like a few $100 in the red, it's kind of hard for me to justify it." And
Yeah.
so, but that's on me of building a larger fan base and kind of growing that way too. So I've been much more proactive and strategic and taking the initiative to really get after it over the last few weeks and months. So we're back in the studio, we're writing, we're looking for songs. Actually came across a song that I think is just a good party song, and that's different for me. I'm
Right.
kind of this, conservative guy until I get on the stage and not much of a drinker. So when I hear this party song, I'm like, you know what? This is an area that I want to go explore. I want people to see that I do have a fun side to me, more than just the cowboy hat at times.
Right. But who are some of your biggest influences as far as music? I know you mentioned George Strait and Alan Jackson, but
Yeah,
maybe some also that are on the scene right now.
so they kind of kicked it off, obviously.
Right.
They had a sound that resonated with me. And as time has moved on, I've learned to realize that country music will always be country. What's country will always be country. We all know what that sounds like.
Yeah.
And every generation will deem country their own way. But after a while, we'll all say that like 90s country, that's country. Or the early stages of Texas country, that's country. So for me, my biggest um, influences right now are guys that have more of a distorted sound and that kind of
Mm,
get the music going. So I like Casey Donahue's sound. I've
yeah.
always liked Aldean's sound. Nate Smith, Whiskey Over You, I really liked that sound. So I'm looking for those guys for ideas on how to shape like my sound moving forward. Because you'll look at Good Thing Going, which is my latest album. If you haven't checked it out, yeah, guys, go check it out. There's a lot going on there. And I was really excited about it, but when you step back, you're like, yeah, these are a great collection of songs, but there's not a consistent theme. It's just like, okay, we got, a swing song here, we got a rock song here, we got a pop song here, we got your radio song here, and you're like, oh shit, it's a lot going on. But yeah, those are the guys that I'm looking towards right now. And also discovering how to have my own brand. And Co does a
Right.
phenomenal job with that, and so does Parker. So who would have thought of Gold Chain Cowboy? I mean,
Yeah. it's
you know,
it's yeah, we actually I talked with him about that. He's like I asked him like, so where did that come from? Is it just because you wear a chain, or like like where'd it come from? And he's like, well, someone just kind of said it to me one time, and I was like, oh, that sounds cool, and I needed like an album name. He's like, so I put it on there, and he's like, I've always been obsessed with chains and stuff, so he
yeah.
goes, I finally, he's like, I finally got enough money now to buy a chain, so I just like I'm the gold chain cowboy. But I think that's cool. Yeah, kind of establishing a brand like that.
I used to I nicknamed myself the Son of the Alamo, like to try to get something going for a while, and I was always a big fanatic of the history of the Alamo, so that's what I
The
nicknamed
son of the
myself.
Alamo.
So you go on my website. That's the talk about
What?
Aaron Watson when he was the honky tonk kid for a while. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, and then you got Honky Tonk Kid. Parker was the Limestone Kid when he was starting out. So
yeah,
it's like
remember that?
everyone seems to have their own nickname and stuff. So that's definitely something. I'm the Red Dirt Aggie,
Yeah,
self-proclaimed. So
sometimes you just
um,
gotta take the leap of faith to run with it, and then
yeah,
have confidence behind it.
yeah, man. So um, who? Do beans belong in chili? We got to go with the Rich O'Toole question here. He's
Okay. So, look, man, I'm cool with beans and chili, but the fact that people like to debate about this amuses me. Just eat your chili the way you want to eat your chili, man. That's it. But pro beans here. Pro beans.
Pro
I
beans
think
here. All
that's
right, Team Beans. Team Beans.
yeah.
That's good. That's yeah. I say I'm Team Beans. You know, like I'll eat it. I'll eat it either way. I feel like, but I mean, I feel like usually when I have chili, there's beans in there. But maybe that's just because
Yeah.
it's the kind of chili that I'm eating. I don't know. um, but what's maybe the craziest thing you've seen while you've been out there on the road or at a show or something? You know, while you're out there going around to play shows.
Craziest thing I've ever seen. I haven't seen too much. Actually, you know what? No. Here's the craziest thing. So, um, when I was playing in Cibolo, Texas, at Old Main Ice House, this guy comes up and he was gone, bro. He was pretty
Right.
gone. Comes up to me, he's like, "Hey, man, you know any Aaron Watson?" I was like, "Yeah, what's up?" He said, "Kid you not?" Pulls out 150 bucks. He's like, "150 bucks, you sing off the record right now." I was like, "Ooh, are you okay?" Like, and I'm looking at him, peripheral vision. This lady comes up. She says, "Hey, sorry about this. He's a little drunk. We're getting a divorce, and that is why he wants you to sing the song." I was like, "Okay." So I
You're
sang
like,
the
well, I'll
song.
take yeah, like I'll take my 150.
Yeah, that was the first Aaron Watson song I'd ever learned. At the time, I thought it was a great song. Still think it's a great song, but I was going through a breakup, so I
Yeah.
was like, "Hey, man, I feel your pain. Not a marriage, but I get it." So, so yeah, that was
Oof.
that was the wildest thing that's ever happened. So
Man, that is that's pretty funny. Hey, but you got 150 bucks out of
yeah. Oh,
it.
there was this other time we were playing at Troy's in Arlington, and we got back home from the show, and we were watching a movie, and we just hear this loud crash, and sure enough, right outside our window, these two cars had kind of nicked each other. Everybody was fine, thank God. But it was one of those things where we were just kind of chilling, post show, you're a little tired, a little groggy, and it's like, oh my God.
Yeah,
So,
it's just right outside the window.
right outside the window. Kid you not. It was wild.
At least they didn't crash into your house. I've seen stuff like that. Like I don't know. I watch those like shows like Cops and Live
Yeah.
PD or On Patrol Live, whatever, and you see people crash like into people's houses and stuff. You're just like, good lord! Like imagine being asleep and like someone crashes into your house.
Sure.
But you you ever spend any time hanging out at Hurricane Harry's up in College Station? I know you're an Aggie, so I'm sure you've been around that parts.
Yeah, I loved Hurricane Aries. In fact, I wrote a song called Neon Queen, and backstory is I went to Harry's every Thursday,
Oh
period.
yeah, got to.
And depending on the mood, I'd go after a game too. And if there wasn't anything going on, I'd definitely be there on Saturdays, every other Friday, or I go check out a show and whatnot.
Hmm.
And I saw this girl that just caught my attention, and when I was writing a Good Thing Going, my buddy Brady Lee, who is the co-writer, he's like, Trey, tell me about Texas A&M. Tell me about some spot you used to hang out at. Hurricane Harry's, Neon Queen, Neon Lights, beautiful girl. Ended up going out with her, and we're good friends now. But I love that place. It's magical. It's hard to describe, and honestly, that's the safest dance hall I've ever been to.
It is. You know, I was thinking the same thing. Uh, m- my wife and we go dancing there just because it's like, you know what I mean? There's never any problems there. You go, like, I'm in Magnolia, and so there's not like anything within like 45 minutes to an hour of here anyway. And
Yeah.
College Station's about an hour away. And I was actually there last night dancing, but
No,
it's it's a great dance hall. I like it,
I
you
think
know.
what I like about it, and this might just be College Station in general, is that
Yeah.
when you go to Hurricane Harry's, people were drinking, but everybody really was there to dance, and everybody really
Mm.
was there to learn and to build friendships and whatnot. I always felt safe there. And
Yeah.
anytime I walk in, yeah, there's an age difference now. I'm
Yeah.
27 years old,
Yeah.
but you still just kind of feel at home, and you'll make a
Mm.
friend along the way. So,
No, yeah, and it's just nice. That same thing. I feel at home when you walk in there. It might just be the nostalgia. Being an Aggie, walking back there. But yeah,
yeah,
I'm 27 myself. So yeah, you walk in and you're like, ooh, these people look a lot younger than I remember. But um,
I really hope they keep it up. I know there was rumors they were going to build a high rise and whatnot, so hope it
yeah,
keeps around.
I heard that too. But seeing how crowded it was last night, I don't think that place is going anywhere anytime soon
And
because there was a line down the sidewalk at like
yeah,
11 o'clock. So Um, but yeah, Hurricane Harry's in College Station is a great dance hall. If any of y'all have never been there, go there. But if you watch this show, you've probably been there because you're probably most likely an Aggie or a country music fan. So,
yep.
um, you have a favorite song that you yourself or your band has written?
Favorite song that we've written. That's a tough one, man. You know, because there's so many songs, and they all have their purpose. You know what I mean?
Right.
Neon Queen is definitely one that I enjoy a lot because it takes me back to memory. But I think Missing Me, Missing You was a really good song for me. It's the one pop song that I have. And
Mm-hmm.
I think the reason I like it so much is that it kind of stretched me as an artist and also as a writer to be able to write something so personal, but also try to make it very relatable.
Right. Because that's kind of what you want from a song, I guess. Something that tells a story that means something to you, but you also have to
Yeah,
find a way to make it resonate with other people, I guess, too, to if you
sure.
want it to be popular. And that's got to be tricky, huh?
It can be because yeah, it's like when you listen to Morgan Wallen's music, he gets
Mm-hmm.
so descriptive, but at the same time, you're like, yeah, I can see that. Like that may not be me, but I
Mm,
can see it and I can hear it and I can touch it, and I can feel it. So
yeah.
it's a balance. It's a cool balance.
What's your favorite live concert that you yourself have ever been to as a fan?
Sure, I can honestly say it's Garth Brooks. Um, and for me, it's just one of those things. I was at the Cowboy Stadium in Arlington,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just the energy that he brought. It was everyone singing along with the songs. It was just nonstop. And what I appreciated about it is that even though those songs are, 20 years old now, they still hit in a way that only a Garth Brooks song can. I saw Randall King at Hurricane Harry's, and I'm actually, if you go look at his Taking a Heartbreak video,
Mm-hmm.
I'm in it. And I remember, man, I was just watching so intently because I look up to Randall now, and
Mm-hmm.
and then too. But same thing, he brought energy, and
Mm-hmm.
that's the kind of thing that when people go see me live, I want them to be with the kick drum still in their chest, and they're like, "Wow, that was a show. He didn't just sing; that was a show." And I think at times that's probably one of the things that artists probably struggle with because you got to be able to just do more than sing a song. You got and toss the crowd into the mic. You got to get
Right.
everyone. You got to get them engaged, and you got to get them like how do I say it? Like they're doing more. They're like feeling the beer hit, and they're just vibing with the music. That's the best way I can describe it, man.
Well, yeah, you want people paying attention to the show and being you
Yeah,
watching,
they get their own
into what's
high.
going on. Yeah.
They get their own high from it.
And what would you say is the coolest venue that you yourself have ever performed or played at?
I say the Rustic San Antonio is always a cool venue for me. It's my hope that that answer doesn't stay the same. But the Rustic is my hometown venue. I call it my home venue. Kind of like your
Right.
home court essentially. And every
Right.
time I go there, I have a really good turnout, and I just own that stage. And it's the closest thing right now that I've gotten to what I want to become. So,
Right.
and even though I haven't hit that next jump yet, I know I'm preparing myself for the when it does happen, I'm very comfortable and very ready for it.
And that kind of takes us into my next question. What's your ultimate goal for your career as a musician? Would you
Sure.
say?
You know, as I've grown in this journey, like I started doing open mics like in 2016, 2017,
Right.
and I did a little album that's no longer on Spotify. It's called The Journey. And when I got started, I didn't really know what I was getting myself into. But now that I'm here, I would really like to take this to a touring full-time experience, not only in Texas, but throughout the United States. Overseas, that'd be cool too.
Yeah.
And really, it comes down to making the best music that I can make, providing the best experience that I can, and really just going out and building friendships along the way. So, touring musician, number one, national act, certainly, and making sure that no matter how big I have the opportunity to grow, that at the end of the day, I still get to sit down with my friends and my fans and get to know them and hang out.
So you just like you so national act, touring act, but you want to stay the same person basically. You want to make sure you don't lose yourself. A kind of because you say you still want to have the time for the friends and the family, but you want to be able to tour nationally as well.
Yeah, yeah. But more importantly, it's like when you play in Texas, one of the things that I appreciate after every show, for the most part, Randall comes out, John Wolf comes out,
Yeah.
everyone comes out, and even if it's just for 20 seconds or 30 seconds, whatever it is, it's a hello, how are you? Thanks for coming. How's life? There's still that connection. It's
I've noticed that
the thing I
they'll
want to maintain. Yeah,
come out, shake your hand, take some pictures. It's
yeah.
they're you know what I mean. They don't just disappear a lot of times after the show, and
I remember
I think that's cool.
I saw William Clark Green at Hurricane Harry's, and I forgot what the singer's name was, but it was something in the Night Howlers. And
Oh, Shay, is it Shay Abshire? I think.
yeah, Shay Abshire and the
Yeah,
Night Howlers. And
yeah.
after the show, I just turn around on my left, and I just see him there with a bottle. He's like, "What's up, man?" It's like that is what I want to keep. Like that is just the coolness of the Texas country music scene. And one thing that I appreciate is, Sundays after you've had your, Thursday, Friday, Saturday run, you're usually somewhere on the highway. And I
Yeah,
think it's so cool that I can say, hey, look, there goes John Wolf, or there goes Peyton Howie, or there goes Hayden Haddock. And
yeah,
um, it's all that you see each other for a split second. Not everyone recognizes one another, but you're like, you're not alone in this. There's a whole community, and everyone is wanting to do their best, and in turn pushing each other to do their best at the same time.
yeah. And I feel like, whereas maybe in other genres or other areas of music, like around the country, like it's more of a competition. But I feel like almost in Texas, that a lot of the guys are just like want everyone to be successful because really, there's every now there might be Twitter beef every now and then. I don't know,
Yeah.
but for
But
the
at the end
most part,
of the day,
everyone.
there's room for everybody.
Mhm.
It just depends on how far you want to take it, right?
Yeah,
If you want to be a cover guy, be a cover guy. Still show up to the Texas Country Music Awards. If you want to go do your best to be an original artist, it's as simple as sending emails. And I haven't had the chance to open up for any of the bigger names yet, but what I appreciate about their team is they always respond and say, "Hey Trey, you know,
yeah,
we got it covered right now," or "hit us up for this weekend," or "this is what you need to work on." And there's always at least that friendliness and
yeah.
continuity. So,
That everyone's willing to take the time to you know, at least answer and give feedback, and
Yeah.
it's really a beneficial
I'll use Randall
for
King
you.
as an example. I met Randall at the tap one time, and I
Mm-hmm.
remember I was really nervous, and I just kind of walked up. Randall at the time, he was probably having to be kind of brief with everyone. He's like, "Hey man, nice to meet you," patted me on the back, and you know, he was kind enough to respond to my messages and whatnot. Ever since then, obviously now probably not so much, but he follows me on Twitter and he'll like my stuff every now and then. So I appreciate that. Even as much as he's grown, he still takes time to reach out to everyone along the way.
Yeah. And who are some of your favorite artists from any genre today? Maybe even not in the country scene or
You
on the
know,
country scene.
I'm a big Nickelback fan. Uh, and for me, I like distorted guitars. I
Yeah.
like that kind of storytelling that gets you amped up. And I think one thing that country music has done great as of lately is kind of pushed the edge a little bit.
Yeah.
And the stuff that isn't, quote unquote rough on our ears, it's where something we're enjoying. And
Mm-hmm.
there are lyrics and there's a beat and there's a rhythm that is different and it kind of helps expand the genre a little bit and it makes it more known to everyone else around us. So I enjoy that we're hearing more of a rock country sound come in and out of our experience in life.
Yeah, especially on the Texas scene a lot lately too. A lot of the guys are kind of having that like almost like hard rock sound now coming over to
Yeah,
that. Like
like
you look
I
at
found to listen to Giovanni and I was like, woof,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
certainly not country, but it's red dirt and it's just Texas music at the end of it. And he's done a phenomenal job and he's a really cool guy from what I hear. And I just appreciate that no other state
Yeah,
has what.
has no, because it's like you've got this music and it's almost like emo country rock music. There's no like real like word that
Yeah.
really fits it because it's like such a like mixture of everything. Like some of these especially a guy like Geo, his really is like almost like pop punk mixed with country like in a way. And that's I think that was their mixed in with a little bit of like Tejano music almost. I think their album was
Yeah.
called like Tejano Punk Boys or something, so that's a perfect
Yeah.
name.
Something
But
different out there. I'll never forget. I forget. I think it might have been Parker, uh, but there was somebody that was writing with, I believe, Wade Bowen and co. And they made the comment that I really appreciate writing with those guys because their writing is so free. Like that sometimes it doesn't have to make perfect sense. Sometimes it doesn't have to rhyme. They just, hey, let's just try it.
yeah,
And not every song has to be a hit. And you just keep trying, see what happens.
yeah, and but as far as that rock sound, man, I don't know if you've heard of Shred Dirt, but one of our, well, I don't know if you know Rob White. He's a bass player for Carson Jeffrey, and he was big in Olsen Section 203 too, like for Aggie baseball and stuff. But he started like a clothing line called Shred Dirt, and I just think that's a great name for like the genre that's kind of like that rock like music.
Yeah.
So he's got pretty cool hats and stuff too. But so shout out to Rob. He was our first video guest that we had on when we launched the YouTube channel. We used to just do audio on Spotify,
Yeah.
and then we kind of branched out to doing YouTube too. So, but yeah, I just want to give him a quick shout out while we're talking about that rock side of country. So shout out to you, Rob. But do you have any new music coming soon, or any announcements that you'd like to tell us about here on the podcast
So
while
we
you're
are
here?
working on new music, and this new album is definitely going to have a more targeted approach. I like to say that the energy that I want to bring is going to be more rock centric. There's gonna be like a light pop to it, but not too much. Kind of like somewhere in between. Sorry. Let's re-record that. I
Is there a
heard the
dog back
dog.
there? Oh no, that's okay. Everyone likes dogs. Just bring them in the frame.
Yeah, sorry, she just has something in her mouth.
Oh.
All right, ask the
What's her
question
name?
again. We'll go from there.
Oh, okay. Um, ooh, do you have any new music coming soon, or any announcements that you'd like to tell us about?
Yeah, sure. So we are writing and we are working in the studio. We're working with one of a guy who's a beans and chili guy again.
Rich
Sorry.
O'Toole.
Yes, Rich O'Toole. So I'm working with a producer that Rich O'Toole used to work with. His name is Mac Damon, and
Mhm.
just had a brain fart there. Sorry, but we're working on new music, and this new music is certainly going to be one with more of an edge. The best way I'd like to describe it is that it's going to be somewhere between Aldean and Scotty McCreery, with obviously
Okay.
the feel of Texas on it. So
Mm.
I want people to kind of walk away like, yeah, that was cool. That was edgy, and at the same time have some of the modern touch to it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm gonna have clap tracks on my on my music, but that's something that we're working towards. And obviously, proud Aggie, so I'm actually going to be in College Station September 8th and 9th performing at the Canteen on the Friday, and then on Saturday I'll be performing at the Cadillac Ranch in Bryan, Texas. So to all
Oh, okay.
Aggies listening, come on by,
Yeah.
$5 cover charge, hang out with us. Um,
Yeah.
$5 Saturday, free at the Calvary Court. So
Okay. Nice. Yeah. Calvary Court. That's in Bryan, right?
no, no, that's Century Square. So right across the
Oh,
street.
okay. Century Square. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Century Square, I've seen, has had some opportunities for live music. That was kind of built, I guess. When did you graduate from A&M?
2019. Yeah.
2019. Okay, I did too, actually. I was class of 18, but I graduated in
Yeah.
19.
Victory lap.
That victory lap. But um but yeah, ever since Century Square was built, which I guess was, towards the end of our time there, I've noticed they've had a lot of live music opportunities and stuff over there. We had a guy on a little while back who was talking about that. So I think that's neat that there's some more live music spots opening up besides just like the Tap and Harry's in College
Yep.
Station. So, and in the Chicken, of course, in the
Yeah.
past, there's been music there. But yeah. So, what are some things you consider hobbies or that you're passionate about outside of music?
Sure. I love working out, man. I'm working out 4 to 5 times a week. I'm a big weightlifter. When I have the chance, I love golfing. That's like my
Hmm.
go-to. And last year I picked up fishing for the first time. So been doing a little bit of that as well. And once a year, I'm been going off-roading in my Jeep. So
Yeah. And that was your trip just up to Colorado, right? How was that?
yeah, so I got to drive up Engineer Pass, did Cinnamon Pass, and then Last Dollar Road, and it's kind of cool. Jeep, whenever you go conquer certain trails, they send you a little badge you put on the side of your Jeep. So,
Oh, that's cool, man.
yeah,
That is pretty cool. Well, we talk a lot of music, and we have talked about sports a lot here on the podcast, and we'll actually have a sport. I'm planning on doing a sports episode prior to the first game to kind of
Cool.
start getting back into talking Aggie football again here. But you have any opinions or any predictions for this year for Aggie football, or anything you want to
you
share, or
know,
any of the other sports?
I'm always optimistic that we're going to do well. And I think at
Yeah.
times, one of the things that I've observed with Jimbo is that he tries to run the high probability plays, and for good reason. We got to
Hmm.
go make sure each drive is worthwhile, do our best to work the ball down the field. I think at times, maybe people can kind of telegraph what it is we're going to do.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that they're going to be a little more strategic on the plays that they're doing and maybe be a little more comfortable with taking some risks where they can.
Yeah.
And
And I think.
again, I'm saying this as an artist and somebody that just so no one take it any more than just an opinion. But I think with the resources that we have, with the community that we have, and all things considered, A&M should be in the playoffs. So
Yeah, I mean, if you look on paper, it's like we should be almost every year, right? With all of the resources and the talent coming in, it's just there's something getting in the way, and that's the issue that you've got to figure out. And I think
Oh,
Jimbo has an offense that works. I just think it's a little bit dated, and I think bringing in someone like Petrino to maybe just change it up just enough is gonna might just be just what we need. And having some guys back healthy this year that were hurt, we were hit with the injury bug real hard last year, and
yeah.
having Connor Wigman under center this year, I think is going to be huge for us.
You
So,
know, I think Jimbo's doing a great job at delegating the defense. Now
mhm.
that we're going to have a new approach to the offense, I'm hoping that he's a really good like overseer, and then everyone doing their job, and hopefully we
CEO
get a
head coach.
championship. So,
Yeah,
um,
he's got to play
I
like
do.
that CEO role.
I mentioned the word playoffs because there's talk that we're going to be having a bracketing system. Are we doing that after all, or
So, with the playoff this year is it's still a 14 playoff, but
okay,
they're expanding after this year, I think, to 12 team playoff. And
okay,
there's a format for it to where there's going to be some of the playoff games are going to be played on college campuses for like the first round, but then eventually it moves to a neutral site.
that's
And
cool.
then so I think, and the way they're doing it is like the power conferences. Though if you win your conference, you get an automatic bid, and then the rest are like at large. So
Okay,
that way, if people win their conference, they're not gonna get left out for someone who didn't play in the conference championship but got in because they had a better record or something. Which that's was the complaint of a lot of people. So,
yeah, but hopeful and optimistic, and it's time that A&M have that under their belt, and
yeah,
I will always be a red ass Aggie, and
oh
will
yeah,
always be rooting for the Aggies. I would like to see it happen.
yeah. I just like to see it happen in my lifetime.
Yeah.
Like 1939 was a long time ago,
Oh my
and I
God.
would really like to see one more recent than then.
I recently watched the Johnny Manziel documentary,
Yes, I
and
did as well.
phenomenal documentary, really insightful. I'm happy that Johnny's in a better place now.
Hmm.
But when I wasn't at A&M during those times, and I kind of
Right.
wasn't really paying attention, I was focused elsewhere. But to see that energy and see how that experience helped A&M grow
Yeah,
as a
it's
football team and
incredible.
grow as a university, I'm like, hey, we have like everything ready here. And if we get that, there's no reason that we cannot have a winning legacy like Alabama, like Georgia. And I think it's really possible.
When it's just all of the resources and all of the support and everything that we have there is in place. So it's like it's just a matter of time. It's just hard. You want it. You want it. You want Jimbo to have it because it's like if it doesn't work out with Jimbo, then you just have to start over again, and it's just that whole.
Yeah.
It's like eventually they're gonna get it right. You just want it to be sooner rather than later. It's
You
just
know, I think one of the things is here we are today on a podcast talking, right? I didn't
right.
play football. I just observed it, do my best
Yep.
to learn
Same.
statistics. And, there's only so much we can do on the sidelines. And we have to have, faith and trust that Jimbo and the team are making the strategic decisions. And I'm sure they're at the time, with all the data they have, they're making the best calls.
Yeah.
And I think we need to be patient with that. Still be a little demanding. Um,
Oh yeah. And I understand both sides of it. Like I understand the fans that are hungry and demanding, particularly the rich old people that are spending lots of money to buy expensive seats and donating to the athletic department. Like, hey, can you please win? Because like we're giving you all of this money to make it easier for you. Can we please win? But at the same time, it's like I don't envy being well. I envy it a little bit. He makes a lot of money, Jimbo does, but I don't envy you having the responsibility of that, of having that kind of responsibility and, all of that hate mail that he probably gets when stuff doesn't go right and whatever else. So,
but I'm sure he'll do great. I'm sure basketball with Coach Buzz will do great.
Yeah,
Coach,
I love Coach Buzz as
yeah,
well. I think he's a great. I think he's a really, really good coach. The way he turned around the team last year and we went undefeated at home in conference play was nuts. um,
I I saw a few games, and if I'm correct, they're running a motion offense, and they're just phenomenal at working the ball around and finding the open guy. So I appreciate the energy, and I think,
Effort.
yeah, and what I
The
think is
effort's there.
that they're finding a way to really go and transform these players into phenomenal players. So and bring the best
Yes.
in them and having those magical moments.
Well, and that's the thing. It's we used to have all of the talent in the world and not enough effort. Some of the times it felt like with Aggie basketball. Now I feel like we have a solid amount of talent and all of the effort. So if we can recruit a guy who's like truly an elite player, then I think we could make a run like in the tournament. It's like we just need like one guy and we're
Mhm.
there because and next year and that's not a knock on any of the guys that are there right now either.
Yeah.
They played phenomenal last year and a lot of them are coming back. I think only one person left and it was because they graduated or were out of eligibility. So they're going to be coming back hungry, especially with the way we were knocked out in that first round with Penn State. um, I know people were upset about the seeding and saying, "Oh, we should have been playing someone else," but it's just kind of hard to use that as an excuse when you lost. You did play,
Yeah,
so
I think I think we're ready to hit that last leg, and we're going to kick
mm,
it into our our winning gear. That's what I like to call it.
yeah,
We'll get
and
there,
it's just
and when we get there, um, everyone's going to be excited, but then we got to go maintain it.
mm-hmm.
So,
But it's just
especially with not just basketball, we already have a phenomenal track record there, but TU's in the horizon, and we got to
yes,
force them. And we got to keep that aggressiveness and maintain um, the understanding of who the better football team
oh,
truly
absolutely,
is.
and the best football team in the state of Texas is, and it's that's going to be absolutely insane next year in Kyle Field. Might have to take out a second mortgage on the house to get tickets to that game. I
Yeah,
don't know. I think
it's
the best way is going to be to have season tickets probably to get in there. I don't know what the best route is. Maybe get season tickets and sell your tickets to all your other games if you need to make the money back. I don't know. But yeah, it's gonna be nuts. I don't know. They're not gonna be able to. What they're gonna have to do something like when they played Nebraska back in the '90s and put like seats on the sideline or something to fit everyone in there. Add a fourth deck or something.
you know, I, Kyle Field is a work of art now. The
Oh yeah,
reality is A&M's only going to get bigger.
yeah. It's
Kyle Field's going to need to get bigger too. So
yeah. I know, and I don't know how you can make it any bigger safely and where everyone can see because it's like it's
yeah.
already so big. It's like where do you put more seats? Do you build a fourth deck? Like I don't know, like or
And
field level seats like on the sideline. I don't know for the like the premium sports pass where you get to be on the
yeah,
sideline or something. Don't know what they're
I
gonna
remember
do.
at Arlington at AT&T Stadium,
Yeah, they
they
have
had
the
this.
field boxes.
Yeah,
Yeah. I used to go there and watch A&M play Arkansas. I did that for a few years because I had a buddy who went to Arkansas. He's been on the podcast before, I think, on our audio, and I bring him on every year when we play Arkansas. And he's always sad after we beat them. Oink Oink was tough on him last year.
yeah.
Oh man. But yeah, this has been the Red Dirt Aggie Show. Thanks for hanging out with us today, Trey.
I appreciate it.
Um, and thanks to all of you for tuning in and watching today. Also, Trey, I don't know when I end this if it's going to boot you out or not. With all of our technical difficulties, there's no telling what's going to happen. But thanks for coming on. Thanks for being patient with us. As always, gig 'em and God bless. See y'all next time.
all
Or
day.
do this hand. Gig 'em.